We are gonna make mole verde tonkotsu ramen. Today's Thursday. I don't think I'm gonna be done with this entire recipe until Sunday. And here are the components, the major components that are gonna go into the final dish. We are going to have mole verde, which is green mole, tonkotsu broth, which is pork bone broth. We're gonna have shoyu tare. We're gonna have some mole negro, which is black mole, paste serve as the aroma oil in the ramen. We're gonna have ramen eggs. We're gonna have chashu, which is pork belly. And then we're gonna have some elote. I think I got it all. Today we're gonna start with the mole verde sauce. First order of business is to toast up some spices. So we have a cup of pumpkin seeds. That's gonna go into my cast iron skillet on medium heat. I have a teaspoon of cumin, and then I have a half teaspoon of Mexican oregano. And I'm just gonna move these around. I'm gonna say that's done. I'm gonna put them on a plate. Then we're gonna take a spice grinder, get a funnel. We're gonna put all this stuff inside the spice grinder. Now put the lid on and grind away. And there we go, that's it. This is our powdered pumpkin seed, cumin, and oregano. Next step, we got an assortment of veggies in front of us. We have tomatillos, we have onions, we have 2 jalapenos and 1 serrano. We have some garlic, cilantro, and we have epazote. This is a special Mexican herb. Put some oil in there, that's enough. With our oil hot, we are gonna add our onions. Let's do this in batches so we don't overcrowd the pan. We're gonna add our tomatillos, jalapenos, and our garlic. And we're just gonna heat these up until they're slightly brown. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna turn the heat off. I'm gonna put these inside my blender. I'm gonna make a little room inside the blender because it's pretty high up, so I'm just gonna put the lid on and I'm gonna pulse this a few times. This right here may help us. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and stop because I think that's enough. Okay, unfortunately, I just lost some footage. I added 2 cups of chicken stock to this blender. I added in the cilantro and the epazote, and I just blended it up enough to kind of get things started. And then I just topped this off with our powdered pumpkin seeds, cumin, and oregano. And now I'm gonna finish up the blending job. I'm gonna say that's done. Okay, with this thing all very well blended, this is gonna go into a pot. We're gonna turn up the heat. This is a lot of sauce. I did not expect to make this much. And I'm gonna do 2 things. I'm gonna reduce this, and I'm also gonna taste it for flavor. And a third thing, possibly, if it needs salt, I'm gonna add salt. Okay, so I just turned off the heat. I've been reducing for about 30 minutes. I'm happy with the consistency that I see here. Let me go ahead and give it a taste. Oh, that's very good. I can taste the pumpkin seed. I can taste those peppers. This is spicy. I love it. Good salt flavor. I can also taste the chicken broth. And that's actually the thing I'm most curious about. How is a chicken-based sauce gonna taste with a pork-based broth? We'll see. 7:30 the next day, it's Friday, and I have just got through roasting some pork bones. You can see them here on the baking tray. This is 6 pounds. They have been roasting for 1 hour. They are still sizzling. I'm gonna lean in close so you can hear the noise. Okay, let's load them up. And I think there's some marrow or some fat content that is pooling inside the baking sheet. I'm gonna put that inside the pot as well. I have added water to the pot, just enough to cover the bones. I am now going to add some roughly cut pieces of onion. I'm gonna add some ginger. This is not something that was in the recipe for the tonkotsu, but I just like ginger, and I think this will be a good thing to add. Some shiitake mushrooms. And then we are gonna let this boil for 12 hours. And while I'm here at the stove, I might as well make our tare. So I have about 2 3/4 cups of water in this pot, and I'm going to get it hot. And before it boils, I'm gonna put in a very large amount, 2 ounces, 2 weight ounces of kombu. With the water boiling, we're gonna keep this kombu in here for 2 more minutes. And after 2 minutes, we're gonna discard the kombu. Okay, with our kombu removed, we are now going to add a good amount of ground up dried shiitake mushroom powder. And then I'm going to add some hondashi. So I'm gonna add 1.5 teaspoons. We're gonna bring it back up to a very gentle boil. Once we hit the starts of a boil, which is exactly what we're hitting, I'm gonna turn off the heat. And then I need to strain out as much of this stuff as possible. I've strained it out once using just a regular hand strainer. I'm gonna use a coffee filter to get whatever else I can out of that. With our mixture strained and looking nice and clear, we're now gonna measure out how much we have in grams. I have 217, just shy of 220. So what I have to do is I have to add exactly 17%. I might take 2% off because the hondashi does have some salt in it, but I need to add, let's say, 15% of this weight in salt to this. Boom. All right, just a little bit over. 33 grams going inside our mixture. Okay, last step for the tare. With our salt now in our mixture, this is pretty much 250 grams of total liquid in this pot. We need to measure the exact same amount in dark soy sauce. Almost there. All right, good enough. I'm gonna give this a little bit of a taste and probably regret it almost immediately, but let's find out. Okay, it's salty. It's not overpowering though. I can taste the soy sauce, I can taste the mushroom, I can taste the dashi, I can taste the seaweed. It's got all the right components in there. So this goes into a container and then it goes in the fridge. And it's the next day and that broth cooked for 12 hours. My stock pot made it really easy to take out all the solids and I was left with a lot of broth. This is just a very small portion of it. And I'll give you an up close look. You can see that it's become cloudy. That's expected. That's just the solids from the mushrooms, the onion, and the ginger breaking down and getting mixed in. We are gonna make our chashu, our pork belly. Now, I am not going to make it in rolled log form. I'm spending a lot of time making this recipe. It would just be more work, and I wanna take a little bit of a shortcut on this one. So I'm gonna heat up my stock pot with my oil, and then when our oil is shimmering, we're gonna put the pork belly in, fat side down. And then after about a minute of cooking, take some tongs, lift, place it on the other side. All right, so we have our pieces of pork belly. They have been fried up on all sides, as good as we can get. Now I put them back in the stock pot after taking out the oil, and we need to add in some liquids because now we are going to slow cook them. So I'm in the process of pouring out 1 cup of sake. 1 cup of sake. Hudson is over there licking his lips because he thinks he's gonna be getting some of this. No, buddy, this is for me. 1 cup of soy sauce. 2 cups of water, using the same measuring cup, so that's why it looks brown. This is about 2/3 of a cup of sugar. Now I need to position these so that they sit as low inside the liquid as we can get. I'm adding in some slices of ginger, and I'm adding in the greens of some spring onions. And now we bring this to a boil on medium heat. As things approach the boil, I'm gonna do my best to see if I can skim off any of the scum or the foam that's on top. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat down. In Japanese cooking, there's the name of a device. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it because I will butcher it, but it's a metal screen that goes on top of the chashu pork and it helps to push that pork down into the juices, and it also helps to prevent evaporation. I don't have one of those. What I do have is this thing. This is an insert to my Instant Pot, and it just so happens to be the right size to go inside the pot. It's just shy of being too big. So I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna take some foil, and I'm going to kind of wrap it around the edges a little bit, and I may poke some holes in this because it does need to vent. Or I can just trust the loose fitting on the foil to be enough. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put this carefully on top of the pork. I think that'll do just fine. And we will let this slow cook for 2 hours. 2 hours later, and flipping every 30 minutes, here is where we are at. I have the cover here. I did poke some holes in it. Let's go ahead and take this out. There we go. Look at that. That looks beautiful. Dark color on this side. Still got that sear on it. Here are the next steps. I'm gonna take the pork chashu out. I'm gonna put them in vacuum seal bags. I'm gonna take some of the juice in the pot, put that in the bag, seal them up, and they're gonna rest overnight. Then I'm gonna take some of the juices and put them in a vacuum seal bag with 3 soft-boiled eggs and let that sit in the fridge for 6 hours. Hello, today is the last day. I have some corn here. We're gonna bring it all together. Corn is a common addition to ramen. We are gonna be making corn in the style of elote, which is Mexican street corn. So I'm gonna cut this in half with a good amount of pressure. We can do this. There we go, done. We're only gonna use about that much, but we're gonna roast this. Get the carbon steel griddle out, put some grease on just a little bit of it. All right, you can see there, we're starting to get some good char. One thing I wanna try doing, I'm gonna take my griddle, I'm gonna move it over here, because I wanna get just a little bit more char. So I might do a little trick that we used to do at my house. We wanted to roast hot dogs, which is to just put it right over the fire. Really get some char on that. Nope, that is working out perfectly. Haha, good idea. Guess who lost footage again? Me. But thankfully, I have another corn on the cob, and so even though it's 2 days later than when I recorded that last piece of footage, I'm gonna show you exactly what I did right now. We take our corn on the cob that's been roasted up a little bit, and we cut off the kernels. We don't cut too deep. If you cut too deep, you get some of the fibrous center, and that doesn't taste very good. We put it inside a bowl. We have our bowl of corn, we have a ladle. We are gonna add some mayonnaise. I should have gotten QP mayonnaise, but I'm using Duke's instead. Missed opportunity, but it comes out tasting good all the same. We're not gonna add that much mayonnaise. We're gonna add some salt, smoked paprika, garlic powder, a good squeeze of lime. With the back of the ladle, we break up the corn, and then we stir. The last thing we add is some cotija cheese. Take our big spoon away. Try this. Perfect. 4 vessels on the stove. Let's bring everything together. In this tiny pot, I'm gonna add some green mole sauce. To this pot here, I'm going to add a tiny little bit of black mole paste. Black mole paste is something you can get at any Mexican grocery store or any international food market. And I'm just gonna move it around a little bit with the back of this spoon and banging it against the pot when it gets stuck, because I just wanna heat up the paste a little bit. We're gonna add in a big scoop of our now jellified tonkotsu broth. That is going to make a big cloud of steam. We just stir that in. This right here is a big pot of water that is heating up to boil, because this is where we're gonna cook our ramen noodles. With our ramen broth coming along pretty good, I'm gonna add a big scoop of tare. Turning the heat off on this pot because I think it's plenty hot now. And let me give it a taste real quick. It's pretty good. I'm gonna add a little bit more tare. Actually, that's probably about as much as I need. All right, a pot of water started boiling and I've added in our ramen noodles. These are not gonna take very long to cook at all. I'm gonna set a timer for 4 minutes. And then when those 4 minutes are up, I'm gonna strain them and run cold water over them immediately to stop cooking. All right, last thing. I got some slices of our chashu and I got a butane torch. And I got the fire with me, right? Yeah. So I am gonna char up one side of this. Hudson, you do not want to be near me for this, buddy. Sorry. Let's not overdo it. Let's say that's good enough. All right, it's time. Now, I don't know if you add the broth, then the toppings, or you add the toppings, then the broth. I am just gonna go ahead and add the broth. Give it a little bit of a stir. I'll take my ramen egg, put that there. Take my chashu, put it there. Take my corn and put it there. For my green mole sauce, I'm putting it in a separate bowl with a spoon. We're gonna experiment with the best ways to mix that with this, but y'all, this right here is what we got. All right, y'all, with all that work, I am finally done, and I'm gonna use my phone to get in closer so that you all can see what I am looking at. Look at that right there. That looks good. The egg looks good. Here's our bowl of mole. Oh man, I'm so happy. All right, it is time to try it, and I'm just gonna try it straight out. No mole sauce. It's got pork flavor. It's a little spicy from the black mole sauce, and I can taste the black mole sauce. It's good stuff. Let me get some corn. Let's see what happens when we mix this together with a Mexican-style ingredient. Damn, that is good. Hell yeah. All right, street corn and ramen. Let me get this ramen egg. I might use my fingers to get this. Oh, it's nice and jammy too. But now it's time to try some of this sauce. So there you go. I'm gonna add the sauce like this. Wow. The two work together really well, and they work together because they are actually quite opposite to one another. The tonkotsu broth mixed together with the black mole paste is very rich. It's got heavy body. This green mole sauce, however, is very light, and it's very spicy, and it's vibrant. And when you mix the two together, they create this wonderful combination. And this just, you can taste everything blending together into something new. It's incredible. Y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this bowl up, and I'm gonna go to bed very happy tonight. This is the perfect wintertime dish, and I consider this entire thing to be a gigantic, resounding success. A lot of work, but a success. So, if you enjoyed anything from what I've done in the past 3-4 days, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Give me all your feedback and make this at home if you're as crazy as I am and want to do this. I highly encourage you to. So, with all that said, until we see each other again, go cook something amazing, and I will see you next time.